Hello, welcome to my pretend cooking show. Today I will be making Parmesan mac and cheese. Why Parmesan mac and cheese, you might ask? I'll tell you. I started making this almost 5 years ago for my then boyfriend, now fiance, because he's a picky eater and at holidays there weren't any side dishes that he would eat. He won't even eat regular mac and cheese, but he would eat pasta with Parmesan cheese on top. So I thought, what if I made mac and cheese the same way I normally would, but only put Parmesan cheese in it. And so I started doing that in the crock pot the same way I normally would. I like this way because I can put all the ingredients in, come back a little bit later and just put the cheese in. It's simple and easy. And I like using this kind of pasta because it has plant-based protein from lentils, chickpeas, and peas. And he won't really eat any vegetables either. And this is a good way to just add some more nutritional value to it. There's also whole grains, as well as potassium, calcium, iron. There's vitamins B1, B2, and B3, and 200 micrograms of folate per serving. So per serving, you're getting half of your daily value of folate. I like to use whole milk because it makes it creamier, and it's also a good source of calcium and vitamin D. Other ingredients that you need are butter, pepper, salt, some garlic salt, and of course, Parmesan cheese. So because I'm only feeding 2 people today, I'm using a small crock pot. This is a 2-quart crock pot. So I'm only going to use half a box of pasta. If I was using a larger crock pot, I would use the whole box. So I'm just going to take the lid off and set that to the side. And then I am going to pour half of the box into the crock pot. Okay, and I just had to eyeball it because half a box, that's the only way to really measure, is to look and see when you've got half of the box left. Next, I'm going to add milk to the crock pot. I need 2 cups of milk, so I'm going to use this measuring cup twice since it holds 1 cup. And I'm just going to pour the milk in. And I like to be generous with my milk because I don't want the pasta to be dry. I want the mac and cheese to be creamy. So might put a little bit extra. Fill it up again. And I'm going to go a little bit over the line because I like to add a little bit more milk. And just try to pour it slowly so that it doesn't splash very much. Okay. So you want the milk to cover the pasta, so this is how you want it to look once you've added the milk. So if it's not covering the pasta, I recommend that you add a little bit more milk again so that you make sure that you don't have dry pasta at the end. Next, I need to add butter, and I need 1/4 of a cup of butter, so I'm going to measure it into the measuring cup first, and then I'm going to add it to the crock pot. Take my spoon and put the butter into the measuring cup. And some more. And let's see. Okay. Then add it to the crock pot. Again, be careful, do it slowly so that you don't end up with a splash since you already have milk in there. And then I'm going to stir this all at the end too. Next, I'm going to add my seasonings. First, I am measuring out 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic salt. Okay, and I'm going to add that to the crock pot. Next, I am going to measure 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Add that to the crock pot. Last, I am measuring 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to add that to the crock pot. Okay. Now I am going to stir everything that is in the crock pot. Try to get the pasta evenly covered in milk and get the butter and seasonings mixed in. Now I am going to put the lid on the crock pot, and I'm going to put the crock pot on low, not high, because that will overcook the pasta. And you need to check on it after an hour and stir it. It usually takes about 2 hours, but it needs to be stirred after an hour and then check on it every 15 minutes to make sure that it's not overcooked. So I will see you in an hour when I come back to check on it. Okay, it's been an hour, so I am going to check it and I'm going to stir it. It is not quite done yet, so I think it'll be ready in half an hour, so I'll come back then and add the cheese. Now I am going to add the cheese. I use this Parmesan shredded natural cheese, and I'm going to add 1 bag first and then see if I need to add any more or how much I should add. It depends on your preference of how cheesy you want it to be. So I'm just going to pour this entire bag into the crock pot. Then I'm going to stir it in. And I do this with the crock pot still on so that it stays warm, so that the cheese will melt. Okay, it's looking good. I'm probably going to add the entire second bag because I like it cheesy. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour that in. And I'm going to stir it in again. Okay, so now that I have stirred it, I am going to put the lid back on it and let the cheese melt for about 5 minutes, and then it will be ready to serve. It is all done now and ready to serve. Okay, here's the Sam taste test.
This is really good. Tastes like an A+.